So the question is this: how do entrepreneurs like us, who don't have an endless supply of cash, how do we leverage the best apps, virtual assistants, automation tools, and systems to scale our businesses, increase our profits, and have more time to do what we love to do each day? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name's Dr. Steve Day, and this is Systemize Your Success. Hey, and welcome to Systemize Your Success. I'm Dr. Steve Day, and today I want to share with you exactly what you can expect from this podcast over the coming weeks, months, and years. I believe that what I've discovered over the past few years of working with virtual assistants, of using apps and technology, and about creating systems is how you create a sustainable, scalable, and saleable business when you're starting with your own cash and you haven't got venture capitalist funding or big, deep pockets in order to basically buy your way into the market. After about 3 decades of basically failing pretty miserably at business, I stumbled across the world of virtual assistants. Now, I've got a background in computing and in systems, and that side of stuff has always been quite familiar to me. But the ability to actually access a talented workforce at a price I could afford was a total game changer. Even once I was aware of virtual assistants, it still took me a long time to be able to break down some of the beliefs I had. The beliefs about trust, about learning to let go, about stopping being that control freak micromanager that I'd been for so many years, of stopping believing that I was the only one that could do the work in my business to a standard that was good enough or acceptable for me. I had to apply all of my systems knowledge to create frameworks, to create methods, to be able to actually outsource effectively time and time again, to be able to delegate and get that person to do the work exactly the way I want it done every single time, but without my involvement. But once I cracked that, I realized that I was onto something absolutely remarkable. And I realized that with this combination of virtual assistants and systems, that we can start businesses without needing deep pockets, and we can be successful even in this competitive world. Over the past 4 years, I've hired over 120 virtual assistants from places like the Philippines, for both myself and for clients. I've outsourced personally around 75,000 hours of work. I've created systems and frameworks around hiring, around managing, around delegation, around actually the system for creating systems even, and also spent thousands of hours looking at all the apps and technology out there and figuring out what are the best ones, how do they fit together, which are the right things for the right type of business. That is the stuff that I absolutely love to do. And the fact that I've now got a podcast and also a business around actually learning this stuff and then sharing with other people is like a dream come true. So absolutely over the moon and really excited. And it's all that which is going to be the subject of this podcast. I believe now is the perfect time in history for small business owners to take advantage of a global workforce, of cheap and affordable technology, and of the ability to reach an almost infinite number of customers just from the mobile phone you have in your pocket. It is like the perfect storm for us to actually be successful. But to be successful, you've got to have the skills and the knowledge to be able to leverage those things, to be able to find those virtual assistants and freelancers, but not just any, but the best ones, the ones that are going to actually be able to do the work you need them to do in your business at a price you can afford. You also need to know how to actually connect with them and communicate with them and manage them all remotely. Actually having a team of people, building a business around people you never actually meet. I mean, that scares the crap out of most people. But actually, if you want to be successful in today's markets, especially if you haven't got deep pockets, that is how you do it. We leverage the fact that the cost of living is different across the world. So you could hire somebody in places like the Philippines at a fraction of the cost of hiring them, say, from Europe or USA. And therefore, we can build our business because we can actually afford people at a time when our business desperately needs growth, but we haven't got the funds to hire through the traditional way and get offices and employment and all the rest of it. We can also access a market of almost an infinite number of people. You've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the medium of the day is, and that's probably going to change by the time even this podcast gets released. You've got access to that for free on your phone. This is a remarkable time for small business owners. And this podcast is all about how you bring all that together. How do you find the right people on the other side of the world? How do you use the right apps? How do you know which of those apps are the right ones for you? How do you integrate everything together? How do you make it all work so you can be the orchestra? You can be the conductor, of the orchestra of your business, and everything else is moving all succinctly in a standardized and beautiful way together, producing what is going to be an absolutely awesome business. How do you do all that is the subject of this podcast. I'm going to be interviewing some brilliant people who've learned to leverage other people's time, to leverage technology, to be able to free themselves up to focus on their highest income generating tasks. And those are the type of people I want to speak to. How do people become successful through a systemized approach to their world? How do they actually get other people to do everything they shouldn't be doing in their business and their lives so they can focus on the stuff that gives them energy and actually gets them going in the morning, rather than what typical business owners do is end up doing all the jobs you hate, the low value stuff, the stuff that basically just drags you down, instead of actually focusing on the few things that you and only you can do in your business, the few things that are going to make your business a success. This podcast is all about how you carve out that time out of your day to make sure you do focus on the stuff that was gonna make you successful. This is Systemize Your Success, and I am Dr. Steve Day, and I look forward to sharing with you over the coming weeks, months, and years. Thank you very much for listening to this launch episode. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to this episode. I'm well aware there are hundreds of great business podcasts out there, and you chose to listen to this one, and for that I am truly grateful. Hopefully what you heard today took you one step closer to building a successful business so you can share your passion with the world and serve an ever-growing number of people. If you got value out of today's episode, then so will someone else you know. By sharing with others what has helped you along your way, you will grow your influence and be the guy or girl that everybody wants to know. So please hit the share button right now, and also remember to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss future episodes. It's impossible for me to cover absolutely everything in these podcasts, so please do head over to systemizyoursuccess.com right now and download the show notes, transcriptions, and some of my best frameworks and systems for free. Thanks again for tuning in and being a part of this amazing community. Until next time, this is Dr. Steve Day, and you've been listening to Systemize Your Success.